Hi everyone and welcome back. In episode 5 of season 27, South Park exposed something very dark. And I have massive respect for the team that they had the balls to enlighten the topic. Most people got the obvious hints, but there is something even more sinister that we need to talk about. Many of you asked me to dig deeper into all the funny theories about South Park's plot concerning the character Satan having a baby with Trump, JD Vance's secret plan to get into the White House, and how South Park may have tied all of it into certain unreleased files. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'll have to be a little creative with my words, but I'm sure you will understand. So first of all, I'll need you all to support this video because it will not be pushed into the algorithm otherwise, and we need as many people as possible to see this. My channel will take a hit just for talking about this, so like the video and engage with the comments below. In case you don't know what to say, just write something like release the files so we send a clear message. Secondly, if what I'm about to expose sounds crazy, just know that everything is verifiable on Google. Most people just aren't aware exactly where to look. But luckily, I'm very nosy. I know exactly where to look. And I don't like when people are obviously lying to me or telling me to stop talking about certain things. So let's start talking. And of course, I'm not implying anything about anyone mentioned in this video. I'm just commenting with a creative mind on what South Park is making a parody of, for entertainment purposes only. The underlying topic of season 27 has been this relationship between the characters Satan and Trump. Satan is seen holding this black box that he reveals to JD Vance is holding a secret.
None must know, and yet all will soon discover.
It's then later revealed that the box contained a positive pregnancy test, and it's the child of Satan and Trump. South Park always has this genius way of talking about topics without actually saying it out loud, like when they asked Tom Cruise to come out of the closet. And that's exactly what they did here. In the following episode, we see Trump's multiple failed attempts at getting rid of the baby, which is funny enough, a reference to how Kenny tried to get rid of the baby in the past, which is a funny little story. But since Carr from the FCC became the victim instead, JD Vance saw it as him getting in the way of his master plan. And then we had this scene.
I've been trying to convince the boss to get rid of the baby. I'm next in line to be president. That baby cannot be born. And if you continue to interfere, I will make things very difficult for you. We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
And this is where I went, oh my god, they really went there. It's now clear to us that it is JD Vance who wants this secret that no one can know to be silenced, because of his plan to get into the White House after Trump's presidency. So let's zoom out for a second. Why JD Vance? Why is he suddenly showing up in South Park whispering in Trump's ear? Because in real life, JD Vance is not some self-made political genius. I don't know about you guys, but maybe I just didn't get the memo, maybe forgot to check my mailbox, but I didn't have a billionaire finance my entire life right as I graduated from school. Jokes aside, JD Vance is a project. He is a product. Most politicians are not just good Samaritans that stood up against the system and got the support of the people to rise into power. They are groomed by billionaire donors to represent their interests. And JD Vance is hand-built by none other than Peter Thiel. And to all of you who don't know who that is, he is the founder of Palantir, which in short has a software called Gotham. Yeah, bro literally think he's Batman. This software tracks everyone's actions and makes a database with it. they will tell you it's to connect different agencies and make all the data searchable, which is also correct. But what they won't tell us is that they use this information to predict actions of people, mostly crime, and target certain individuals before they would potentially do said crime. That doesn't seem so bad, you might ask. Well, there's a big difference between talking jokingly about committing a crime or accidentally follow the digital footsteps of someone who did in the past and then actually committing the crime. And to add the sprinkles on top of the cake, when their entire system is hooked up to AI, controlling weaponized drones that act on their own from all this information, well, I guess you can think where that will lead us. In case you're still not sold about Peter Thiel, well, just listen to this ridiculous response and question if those are the guys you want in control of our future.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would.
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit in this.
I'm not even sure he would root for us humans in an intergalactic game of football. And I'm also totally sure that he didn't deliver 4 sold-out lectures about the character called the Antichrist, or said that he wants everybody to think more about it. Which makes the South Park bond between Trump and Satan having a baby, which following religious text would be that certain character, to just be God-tier political commentary. It's funny, it's ridiculous, and yet it's not too far off reality. And when it comes to his master plan of getting his Palantir software into power, well, all the receipts are there, and he personally picked JD Vance to achieve all of this. Peter Thiel set him up with his first job in Silicon Valley right after he graduated from Yale. Thiel bankrolled his own venture capital fund. Thiel pushed him onto the global stage and basically turned him into a brand. Then, when it was time to step into politics, well, Thiel dumped $15 million into his campaign, the single largest outside donation in Senate race history at the time. Even when Vance was a never-Trumper back in 2016, it was Thiel who brokered the truce with Trump and made sure the endorsement happened. Fast forward to 2024 and it's Thiel in a room full of Silicon Valley billionaires telling Trump, pick JD Vance as your running mate. Trump listened because Thiel was the only Silicon Valley billionaire that openly supported him back in 2016. So when you understand this entire pipeline, Vance isn't just some random senator. He is the chosen one. He was groomed, appointed, and elevated by a network of billionaires who would prefer the certain files to never see the light of day. Because in the newest leak, Thiel's name allegedly showed up in a calendar of a certain high-profile figure who, let's just say, didn't exactly make it out of prison. So let's bring it back to the South Park episode, because that is exactly what they're parodying here. When Vance show up at Carr's hospital bed, he's not there out of concern. He's there to remind him that you are in the way of the master plan.
We can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
Because Trump needs to kill the baby inside of Satan. And that's how they make it crystal clear that that baby is the symbol of the files. A creation made of politicians and evil, powerful people. If the baby in South Park is born, which would refer to the files being released, well, it could expose everything. Not just Trump's possible involvement, but the very donors, the Thiels of the world, who have bankrolled Vance's rise and are already seeding the ground for a future presidential run. So first of all, I'm not implying that Thiel or Trump did any bad things, but there are clearly 3 types of people involved in the files. Those that are the center of the scandals, if you know what I mean. There are those orchestrating them. And then there are those who exploited all of the chaos that came from the power. And I'm more leaning towards some people might have used this to get some of their system put into place. That is why in the episode, Trump is suddenly obsessed with stopping the baby. That's why he's trying every trick, pushing Satan down the stairs, spiking his soup with Plan B, gathering cats for toxoplasmosis, as absurd as it sounds, but it's just a parody of Trump doing the craziest mental gymnastics to avoid releasing the files or even just talking about it.
We have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Nobody wakes up one day thinking, oh, you know, that idea I had yesterday about releasing the files going into an election with, well, never mind. It was a bad idea. I was joking. No more. People are influenced or even forced, and someone powerful told him no. And South Park's message here is just brutal but simple. The elite will break anyone who steps out of line in an attempt to reveal the secret of the Dark Lord of South Park. And in this example, Carl was just a guy having his life ruined and the rights removed because he got in the way, and now he lost his freedom of speech.
May lose his freedom of speech.
I hope it all made sense and you got something out of it. So what are my thoughts on everything? So when I initially saw the episode with the black box that he was holding, I thought that that box would contain the files. When they didn't, I was like, well, that's a missed opportunity, but I hope they'll bring it back some way because they have to mention this. Like, it just cannot go unnoticed for somebody like South Park to not take a jab at the administration for not releasing these files. So when I saw this scene, I was like, holy, they are actually doing it, but they're just like dragging it out because they're creating this suspense with what's going on? Like, what is this plot? They have all these tiny plots from episode to episode, but this is the entire plot that went from first episode to probably the end of the season. And I think there is no other chances that this is what they are going with. I don't know, some of you might be like, yeah, that's a stretch, but to be honest, when you follow everything, it just makes sense. It's perfect political commentary about the absurdity of the world, people getting hurt for being in the way of big billionaire donors' plans, about politicians being created and orchestrating everything from behind the scenes. And sometimes it's not even the president, the head of state, who is in control of everything. It's just a perfect way to just show us all of this in a hilarious political commentary way. So, of course, I'm not alleging anything in this. This was just my creative mind coming up with a fun theory, because life is about having fun. If we cannot have fun, well, what is it? I just enjoying connecting the dots and just following whatever is happening in front of my eyes, and of course not believing all of the lies. So if you enjoy that as well, I would greatly appreciate it if you would like the video, comment something down below, or just subscribe to the channel for more like this, because I love this content and it seems like you're enjoying it as well. Thank you so much for the previous support in my videos. It has been incredible. I don't know what to say other than you deserve a kiss. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening, morning, good night, whatever, where you are. Thank you. Have a kiss.